Warning, we're going to be discussing events for currently running weekly anime.
If you want to avoid spoilers for certain shows, there are timestamps in the description. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Timesink Anime Podcast. Pour the wine, cut the cheese, it is now winter 2019 season.
Yeah, finally.
I'm JT, and sitting with me as always is Rex.
Well, I say finally, but I'm still really sad about the last season being gone.
Last year, it's been a trip, I'll tell you that much right now. And I'm a little bit upset this week because we didn't really get all that much to watch in this opening week, which is a little bit disappointing.
It was mostly a break. Like, a lot of shows took breaks. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure had a fucking recap episode.
Yeah, I mean, as we've said before, recap episodes can be done well. This was just okay in case you didn't pay attention to the first core.
Yeah, it was not entertaining at all. It was literally just a recap.
It's just, then this happened, then this one, then this one.
Which, I'm not mad. I mean, I'm mad, but I understand why recap episodes are around.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's still just... I wanted more JoJo.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted more JoJo. We only got a couple shows this week that we were personally going to be talking about. But before we get into that, let's just talk about some other things that kind of caught our attention. First things first. Anime Awards are happening soon.
Yeah, the Crunchyroll Anime Awards. They announced their categories so far. The voting is going to start on the 11th of January. I think they changed things up this year. They got, instead of Best Hero and Best Villain, they have Best Protagonist and Best Antagonist.
Yeah.
They brought back Best Boy and Best Girl.
I thought they never took that away. They did?
Well, I mean, they brought it back from last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They kind of cut out individual categories like Best Drama and stuff like that, as far as I know.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to standardize it more so the categories can be the same every year.
Yeah, which... cool, I'm happy with, actually, so long as they get a little bit of a streamlined process and it doesn't get completely cumbersome. Yeah, they're gonna...
they have a sponsored category this season brought to you by Devil May Cry 5. It's like a best fight scene.
Yeah, Devil May Cry 5 and Capcom.
Yeah, what's cool. I mean,
cool.
More money towards the industry.
Or more money towards Crunchyroll specifically, but whatever.
It's hyping up anime more.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, support the official release wherever you guys can. Like, buy Blu-ray, buy whatever. Like, we're not sponsored by any of this. It's just a good idea to support the industry whatever way you can. But anyway, not preaching about that. I'm really looking forward to the Anime Awards myself.
Yeah, we'll probably put out a video. So once they release all the candidates... we'll probably put out a video with our predictions and everything. Maybe stuff that we'd rather have instead of the candidates there.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we'll probably do another video after the awards are actually announced.
Yeah, exactly.
So we can tell Crunchyroll how much... or, no, not Crunchyroll. So we can tell the entire anime community as a whole how much shit taste they have.
Exactly.
As friendly anime watchers like to tell each other all the time.
Yeah, you have shit taste. I tell somebody on this couch that they have shit taste all the time, and it's not Rex, actually. I tell myself I have shit taste all the time.
I mean, I know if someone looks at me and watches, my favorite anime is Oremo.
Yeah.
It's my favorite anime series. I guarantee a majority of the internet would tell me I have shit taste.
Yeah.
But... that's what anime is all about, right?
Exactly. Whose shit taste is slightly less shit taste than the next person's shit taste. Oh, man. And then, another thing, though, before we get into the actual shows, we recently started watching Bunny Girl Senpai.
Yeah, we talked about that last week, I think.
Did we? I think we did bring it a little bit up, but in case we didn't, Bunny Girl Senpai, very Monogatari-esque. If you guys didn't watch it, I really recommend giving it a shot. It's one that regrettably fell under our radar. So anyway, the 3 shows that we are going to be talking about next week. Yeah, 3.
Is it really 3?
It's only 3. I mean, technically Boogiepop had 2 episodes, but it's 3 shows.
Oh my god, yeah, it's a bit of a light week.
Yeah, it is a very light week. So, I guess... I guess for the people that are just joining us this season, welcome to Timesink.
Oh, yeah.
Glad to have you.
I forgot.
Exactly.
I'm thrown off by the fact that it's the first week of the season because I feel like we haven't watched anything.
Yeah, I know, right? It's kind of just a bit of a passing thing. Just, okay, that just kind of happened this week.
So for people who are here for the first time, we watch anime every season. We pick a bunch of shows to watch until week 3. Week 4, we'll cut off down to 12 shows, and then we're going to be talking in
more detail.
Yeah, more detail about those 12 shows that we picked, and we're just going to be kind of following those 12 shows throughout the season until the end, and then we're going to do it all over again.
Exactly. That is how we do here at Timesink, and for those of you who are watching us, thank you for returning to the winter 2019 season. It's still going to take me a while to get used to saying that. Winter 2019. Anyway, so
what do we got? What do we got first?
So the first series that we're going to be talking about is Boogiepop and Others.
It's really good so far.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So they released the first 2 episodes at the same time, which I didn't look into too much, but I'm assuming that it was like a double feature broadcast, probably.
Probably, yeah. I mean, kind of like SAO did last season with its like 45-minute episode.
Yeah, so we got 2 separate episodes. The first one being more of like a kind of just introduction to the setting and introduction to Takeda and Boogiepop. Yeah,
Boogiepop. This mysterious being, creature, phantom, something or other. The way they describe themselves is like as something like bubbling towards the surface, pretty much. Like some darkness that bubbles up occasionally to show up and deal with these weird phenomena that start appearing.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the city's defense mechanism, is how they refer to themselves.
Yep.
They're like, I automatically pop up when some shitty stuff happens.
Exactly.
And Takeda seems about as generic anime guy protagonist as you can get.
Yeah.
Just that, just brown hair.
Yeah, brown hair looks like just like an average student. Like,
I'm just your average high school boy.
Yeah, I'm just your average high school boy, but I'm not going to run out into traffic and get run over. Oh, wait, wrong show. But no, this seems like something that actually kind of does seem like something could happen here. Like, because this is proving to be more like a psychological, like, thriller type show, actually.
Yeah, I'm thinking psychological horror is what it's going to be like.
Yeah, it's like these first couple episodes were kind of a mindfuck, actually. I definitely think I'm going to have to watch them again and kind of just see, like, all the, like, subtle psychological shit that I missed the first time watching through it.
Yeah, it was very slow, but that's not a bad thing. Like, well, I guess the second episode was it picked up a little bit more with the Manticore.
Oh, yeah.
But the first episode was definitely very slow, and it was kind of confusing sometimes because it shot ahead and then shot back to different scenes.
Yeah, like, it seems like this, like, I actually said this while we were watching it. It reminded me a little bit of Baccano. But like with this sort of like things kind of being told out of order and you having to kind of piece like events together and stuff like that. Yeah,
and they don't hold your hand, which is nice. I'm slowly piecing it together in my head. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I think in the first episode they showed some of the murders a little bit, and then on the second episode they introduced completely new characters.
Yep.
With the Manticore and Manticore boyfriend, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's really all I mean, we'll hopefully figure out his name sooner than it took last season.
Unless he dies.
Yeah, he might die. Like, we barely knew ye. But anyway, so this being a Madhouse production values on this show are really high already. Yeah, you can tell.
It's really pretty.
Yeah, it is very
I love the character designs, too. Yeah. I love how smug Boogiepop is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Boogiepop is very smug. And
I guess it's his Takeda's girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah. Miyashita, I believe her name was? Or Miyashita or something like that?
It's only fucking week 1. I'm not going to remember names yet. Are you kidding me? Took me till like the end of last season almost to remember all the names, especially with Thunderbolt Fantasy.
Yeah.
And I didn't even remember all of them by the end of Thunderbolt Fantasy. In the last episode, we were talking about it on week 13, I think it was.
Yeah.
I was just like, Lin Zhang.
Gale.
Ching Chong Wang Bong. Chinese names. Fucking hard to remember.
Yeah, Thunderbolt Fantasy was hard to remember because they had the name in the subtitles, which was like Chinese, but then they had like the actual Japanese pronunciation that they said, so it was kind of hard to discern what you were seeing and what you were hearing.
But in the second episode of Boogiepop, I think after watching those 2 episodes, I think my favorite character is definitely the girl who kicked out of school on purpose. Not kicked out of school.
Yeah. No, she gets suspended.
Suspended, that's the word, yeah.
Karima Nagi, I believe her name is. Something like that.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
But, she was really cool because she basically is serving as sort of like a vigilante-esque character. We see her in the intro. She's like shooting out like threads or something.
Yeah, we see her like rappelling on the side of a building in the intro.
Yeah. And then even Boogiepop acknowledges, okay, somebody had already dealt with this problem I was sent to deal with. And it's heavily implied, or at least what I got, is that it was Nagi who dealt with it. We don't really know her origins, or what exactly she's all about just yet. It just seems like she's kind of a vigilante chick.
Yeah, so I was a little worried that when Boogiepop was like, oh, you don't need me anymore, I'm just gonna disappear, and then she like fell off the building, I was like, oh, is she gonna take the girl with her as well?
Yeah.
I thought she was gonna I thought the Takeda was gonna look over the edge and just see a at the bottom of the ground.
Yeah, I don't think this is that type of show. Or, I mean, it could have been. What am I saying?
Yeah,
we barely know. We barely know. We're like,
it's safe to say, though, I'm
a week
super intrigued.
Yeah, no, I'm intrigued by the show, to say the least.
It looks like it's probably going to be one of the best shows of the season.
And
at least based on these 2 episodes.
Yeah, exactly. I will say this. This isn't gonna be like something for everyone. Like, if you're not into like kind of slower like starting shows, like where kind of build up tension, atmosphere, like setting and stuff like that, and especially like non-linear storytelling, this certainly has that. Then I can definitely see why this won't appeal to some people. Like, if you didn't really like Baccano and its approach to storytelling, you're probably not going to like this.
Yeah, you're going to have to be patient with it.
Exactly.
Kind of put everything together slowly.
Because the thing about this, like, in kind of comparing it to Baccano, is with the whole nonlinear storytelling of Baccano, the reason why it was so good is because I was able to marathon it. So I was able to kind of immediately get answers to questions I had in the previous episode as I was watching it. It's just like, oh, cool, this is so cool, what happens next? Watch the next episode. Here, it's sort of like, crap, now I have to stew in a week for this and actually figure out this stuff, which is actually kind of cool in its own right.
You gotta put like a pinboard in your room, like
I might.
Slowly putting things together.
Yeah.
What do the numbers mean?
Yeah, kind of eventually get like a freaking Always Sunny in Philadelphia situation. Yeah. It's just gibberish on the wall. But I'm really liking this. I will say that Takeda, I believe his name was, the main guy.
Yeah.
He reminded me of his character design, not surprising.
Parasite?
Yeah.
Exactly what I thought.
Exactly. It's Shinichi Izumi from Parasite.
He's generic brown-haired anime boy.
Like, exactly. It's also just makes sense because this is a Madhouse production. Of course, they're going to have probably similar character designers or way that they design characters. So, who knows? I really like this series so far. We'll see how it pans out in the next couple of weeks, though. So next up?
Next show we're talking about is The Price of Smiles, which it turns out to be, it was looking like it's going to be a bland sci-fi show, but like this is only 1 episode. The setting is why I'm worried about it, because it's like future mech battles, fighting over territory.
This could be another like, kind of generic space opera. Now, the thing I personally think that saves it, like me personally, like I was expecting when I first saw this PV for it, I was like, oh, hey, Princess Nico. But
it's an idol show. Surprise!
Yeah, no, except it isn't. I was actually kind of worried because, like, there's a scene when Yuki, like, steps up, trips, and then you think she's, like, and she's getting ready to announce, and it's like, and surprise, it's an idol show.
Fucking sweet recovery, though.
Oh, that was a sweet recovery, actually. That was really
He just tumbles, and then it's just like, I meant to do this!
Yeah, just like a gymnastics landing, like, ta-da!
Yeah.
No, I will say this. I think that Yuki could be an interesting protagonist in the fact that, like, okay, like, she seems like a bit of a young, kind of bratty princess at the start, but at the same time, she also seems to be trying and getting her best foot forward when it comes to actually doing the right thing and trying to help her kingdom. At least pick up where her parents left off. I actually kind of respect that in her character, just from this 1 episode so far. And the fact that she's really young.
Yeah, she has a lot to learn. I hope that, like, I want to see her, because they're like, I want to go and explore, is what she said. Like, they need to bring her to an area where everything's really shitty.
Yeah.
And for her to realize that, everything isn't sunshine and rainbows like she was raised up her whole life. But that's going to be a very difficult... It's going to be very difficult to convey that in a good way, I think, because it's they could very easily just put her in an area where people are like, I'm starving and the government isn't blah, 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 blah. There's all the problems and my kid is dying. Like, I hope they don't just go for pure shock value.
She could just as easily like just see like a war-torn battlescape, like, or just like the remnants of like all the dead Gundams or dead soldiers or whatever, or things like that. Like, and that'd be effective in and of itself, because the series leads me to believe, like, because her goal is ultimately to make a kingdom where everybody can smile and everybody can be happy, sort of like her parents. Now, the title of the series is called The Price of Smiles, which makes me think that the price of smiles being human blood, pretty much. Like, people have to die to make sure other people are happy, is ultimately what I think this show is going to try and get at. Which isn't necessarily a bad theme. It could be done well.
It could be interesting as long as they don't go too heavy-handed on the forced sadness.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it'll be interesting. It would be interesting, though, seeing Yuki kind of develop as a character if we actually decide to stick with this show. Which, I'm actually, judging on this first episode, the setting aside, I actually am kind of intrigued by it. Like,
yeah, I'm definitely intrigued too. Let's talk about the CG really quick. It's really good.
Okay. Yeah, the CG is really, really good.
There's a problem that a lot of studios use. A lot of people use the same thing with CG. Is they like run it at a lower frame rate than everything else, and it just looks really awkward a lot of the time. Gridman did that, but they did it in a way that just made everything look heavier.
And that was kind of their intention.
Exactly, yeah. And this thing, the CG runs at the same frame rate as everything else, and it looks really smooth.
Yeah, and that is actually the thing that it kind of threw me for a loop a little bit, because I was like, oh man, everything feels like it's just running so much smoother.
You're not used to seeing CG like that.
It's like, it's actually kind of awkward. I mean, it looked good, but it's like, wow, everything's moving so smooth. I guess one of my problems with it was, after seeing like the weight and then impact of Gridman, it feels like everything's just kind of floating along. And that is, I guess you could argue, yeah, that's the technology and stuff like that, which, that's okay. That's fine. It's just, at first glance, I'm like, whoa, really? It's like, I'm worried that it won't pack the same weight or impact, like, eventually.
Like you mean like, just the fights themselves?
Yeah, exactly. Like, because when they eventually do get to that,
which it looks like they're going to.
Yeah.
Because they did the whole CG battle, which I think is probably a pretty clever. It's a pretty clever writing decision, because you're kind of putting the audience in a false sense of security.
Yeah, like an escape it.
Because they're like, oh, these battles aren't that big of a deal. They're just little video games, and even the characters treat it as video games. I think this is a good opportunity to completely flip the tone in the second episode,
or even the third episode if they pull the Madoka trick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, typically it's by episode 3 where they pull something that completely flips the narrative, and it's like, oh, shit.
Well, unless they focus more on the princess in the second episode a lot more, I don't think they're going to have time for that.
Maybe.
Because in the end of the first episode, the princess's bodyguard is being sent out to battle.
Yes, and fun fact about the princess's bodyguard, I actually noticed this. He's voiced by Kirito.
Oh, yeah.
He is voiced by Kirito. I was like, oh, hey, Kirito.
Pretty much the same personality, too.
Yeah.
Just kind of cocky.
Yeah.
Little kid, or I guess he's not a little kid. He's probably an adult.
He's like 15, like, because the princess is 12 and he's like 15, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's actually about the same age as Kirito, really. But I think that this show could be interesting. I'm going in kind of optimistically about it. Like, nothing has really grabbed me yet, but other than kind of just speculation on the themes and what we've seen here. We haven't seen a whole lot just yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, if anything, I have confidence that the battles themselves are going to be kick-ass no matter what.
Yeah, I think so too. But I really don't know what else to say about this show. It just looks like it could be a fun, if nothing else, it could just be a fun space opera sort of deal. Like, kind of like Gundam. But I mean, I don't know. I've actually never really watched an entire series, a Gundam series, like, ever.
That's a rabbit hole.
Yeah, that's what I hear. I heard Iron-Blooded Orphans is a really good Gundam series, some of the stuff I've seen, yes it is. Anyway, enough about Price of Smiles. On to the show that is the only show that is carried over from last season so far, Sword Art Online.
This episode sucked.
This episode really did.
It was so boring.
Yeah, like, it was very hard to, like, stay engaged. Like, because, alright, last episode, we acknowledged it was an info dump. And it was actually an info dump that wasn't bad. Like, I actually thought, okay, they actually kind of did a little bit of they did a lot of showing, not just telling you everything.
Yeah.
Here, they kind of did the opposite.
This episode definitely felt like they were almost taking the recap episode route of, like, we don't have enough material, or, like, we don't have enough time to put out another episode, so let's just put out something, like, lazy.
Yeah, thank you. It felt really padded out.
Yeah, there were so many shots in this episode that was just hanging on characters while they were talking, or slowly drifting over them while they were talking, and it's like they had a couple moments where I liked the parts where they were talking about Cardinal and Administrator, how she was trying to, like, expand her memory, I think that was what she was doing, but she ended up giving Cardinal a lot of power in that moment.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought that was pretty interesting, but that was, like, 5 minutes of the episode.
Yeah.
Not even 5 minutes of the episode, and the rest of it was just...
And then part of that, like, it was, like, the fight choreography, like, when they actually, like, object manipulate, like, or whatever.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Object manipulation sword, object manipulation rod. That was cool. The fight choreography was kind of bland, though. It just felt like a lot of stuff here was just kind of half-assed.
Lazy, yeah.
Yeah.
They used a lot of explosions in that fight that would just cover up everything.
Yeah, I can't see the fight, like... I'm just gonna stand in this one part and then just swing my sword around repeatedly and not even really do anything. There's no weight or impact behind it. It's just, okay, and then I'm gonna fly.
I like a lot of the system calls. I think I said this last episode, or last time we talked about Sword Art. It's just, I like that idea for Magic, how it's just like command prompt lines or whatever. Yeah,
and each of them does like a different thing. That I will admit, yes, that actually is pretty cool.
This feels like they're just killing time or buying time so they can set up the next arc.
Yeah.
Because when it said beginning in this episode, I was like, okay, I thought we were past the beginning.
Oh, no. It's like, okay, nope, this is wrapping up the beginning.
Yeah, so I'm assuming, just based on how they played part of the episode through the credits. In the end, I'm assuming they're setting it up for the next arc to begin next week.
Yeah, I imagine so. Like, I don't see, like, this particular part of the arc going on for much longer. Like, because it seems like we now actually found the plot.
Yeah, exactly. Now they have a reason to go up the tower again.
Which, it's like, hey, 100 floors. Why does that...
What's up, Aincrad?
Yeah, it's like, why does that sound familiar?
I wouldn't be surprised if we get taken to a point where they're like, yes, we actually designed the tower based on Aincrad originally.
That's really gonna piss me off if they do. If they go that route. Oh, they're going to. Who am I kidding?
Yeah, they might.
I mean, I'm almost certain they're going to. But, that being said, personally, I find it a little jarring when Cardinal just keeps referring to her as administrator. I don't know. Like, I know that's kind of supposed to be her title, and at first I thought it was clever. Here, it just, like, they kind of, like, switching back and forth between calling her Quinella and administrator. To me, it just felt a little jarring and just, like, out of place.
I think she was trying to talk. She was trying to differentiate between back before she was administrator and
maybe.
So she was just like, before she was Quinella and now she's administrator. But before she was administrator, she was Quinella. Yeah, like there was definitely a lot of reiterating points.
It's like,
so that's probably why it felt like that.
Yeah, okay, thanks. So it's not just me. Yeah, like we said earlier, this episode just felt really freaking lazy.
Yeah, it was just...
Yu-Gi-Oh shows up in the last 5 minutes and contributes literally nothing.
Yeah, the plot progression of the episode was pretty much the last 5 minutes when they're like, okay, you have your sword now, or here we're gonna activate your swords. Also want to bring back the convenience of frickin' Alice is like, sure, I'll take their swords.
That's still a plot point that I'm thinking is gonna be really stupid.
Yeah,
like because all right, it would have been one thing if these are supposed to be, like, objects that are, like, imprinted onto their souls or whatever, or, like, they're attached to. Wouldn't it have been awesome if they were able to summon them later or some shit?
I would have liked that better, I think.
Rather than just some contrived reason. Sure, I'll take the swords.
Yeah, they're wanted criminals. Who cares? I'll take their weapons with me.
Like, there's literally no reason to do this. Like, no smart reason. Like, again, as I said before, it would make sense if she had kind of, anticipated or wanted them to escape or something like that and had known that it was going to happen.
Which that might be a plot point later on, but it definitely doesn't feel like they're setting it up.
Yeah.
If it happens, it's going to feel like a Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually kind of remembered the whole time.
Yeah, which, even though the other big thing about that is, oh yes, by the way, the Integrity Knights have their memories suppressed by this freaking pyramid, which we'd already known. This was just basically confirming what we had known already.
It was, like I said, it was almost a recap episode.
It might as well have been. Although we did get some plot point that I think personally was absolutely asinine. The end of the world is coming.
Oh yeah, and Kirito just being like, "Don't worry, I'm Kirito," and she's like, "No, you don't understand. The world's gonna end." And he, like, all that was missing is him just leaning forward over the counter, tipping his sunglasses down and be like, "I don't think you fucking heard who I am.
I'm Kirito.
I am motherfucking Kirito, Kazuto Kirigaya.
Yeah, exactly.
I am the main character. You do not tell me that I cannot save the world."
Like, exactly. Like, because, alright, it was already one thing enough for this evil church, basically, and the administrator trying to take over the world. But then we have to throw in this other plot point that doesn't really have any other development. Just throw it out of nowhere. It's like, oh, by the way, the world is going to end here pretty soon because the forces of darkness are coming. Yeah, because we'd known that it existed, but there was no real indication that they were ever really a threat. It's like, now suddenly they are. It just feels like a kind of a countdown timer to artificially create more stakes.
I like Cardinal.
Yeah, no,
I like her a lot. She's adorable, especially when she's like, just come here.
Do I have to spell it out?
She just wanted a hug. She's precious, and I love her character design. I love her personality. I just wish I didn't have to listen to her talk so much.
Yeah, because that's all she does.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, except for like the 5 minutes in the episode where in a flashback, mind you, where we see her fight, and even then, that was kind of lackluster fighting. I mean, the system call stuff was all pretty interesting, but again, it was just a bunch of explosions and covering up all the fight animation.
I'm kind of excited for the next episode. I feel like we're gonna finally get some of that tasty fast food sword art action that I've been craving so much.
Yeah, I know that I'll probably enjoy some of it at first, but then I'll feel the way I always do after I eat fast food, like fucking garbage.
I hate myself.
Like, I absolutely hate myself.
Look in the mirror, like, you're fatty, fat.
It's like, you're a fat fucking piece of shit.
How dare you enjoy sword art online?
But anyway,
so that's it for this week.
Yeah,
right? That's all the shows we watched.
Yeah,
we were like, we put on JoJo right before we started recording. We were like, oh yeah, we forgot to watch JoJo, and then the recap episode started, and I almost threw something at the TV just because I finished watching that goddamn info dump of Sword Art Online.
Yeah, like I think that episode, to be fair, was the only episode we both kind of looked at each other and just said, that episode fucking sucks.
Yeah,
like, we both just looked at each other after the SAO episode and just said, yeah, this episode sucked.
Yeah, because I mean, like, I understand how frustrated Sword Art fans can get with people all the time saying, like, man, Sword Art sucks. Man, Sword Art sucks.
Yeah.
And a lot of people probably say that without ever watching it just because they want to, parrot popular opinion.
Yeah.
So I really want to find the good parts of it.
Yeah, exactly.
But this episode is just like, it kind of sucked.
it does kind of make you realize, like, it's definitely one of those situations where it's like, well, if this is what people who have seen the show hate it, and if this is what they see all the time, then I understand it. And you hate having to sympathize with that.
Yeah.
Like, as someone who has watched all of SAO and still doesn't particularly like it, I'll admit that I've liked parts of it, but as a whole, not really. This was just, It was just so boring. And that's the one thing you don't want with a show like SAO. You don't want to just make your audience bored. And that's what it was. Anyway, this was a really short episode.
Yeah, we don't have anything to talk about. Nothing newsworthy happened.
Yeah, it's just...
there was only 3 episodes of stuff to watch.
Yeah.
Next week is probably going to be... next week is definitely going to be a lot longer. Because by next Sunday, there should be everything out, I think.
I think everything, or at least almost everything, will have been out by that point. Like, I can't think of anything right off the top of my head that isn't coming out right away.
Yeah, I know Run with the Wind is finally starting again on Tuesday, I believe it is.
About fucking time.
So we can finally get the conclusion of that track meet that they're doing.
Yeah, which, again, I don't understand why they cut it off right before the track meet. That really pissed me off.
It was a really unsatisfying end to the tour.
Yeah, it really was. And then we're going to be getting more episodes of Boogiepop. That's going to be cool. I hope it is.
Shield Hero.
Oh, yeah, Shield. Oh, that's another big thing.
Crunchyroll released it early. I think they did it earlier this morning.
Yeah.
Sunday being the time we're recording right now. It's a 45-minute video called Special Preview. I haven't looked it up because I didn't have time today. Mm-hmm. But I guess maybe it's like the first 2 episodes or something.
I imagine it's going to be much of the same thing.
But the point is, Crunchyroll is putting it on their website before it debuts on TV in Japan.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about that. Like, that's really awesome.
Yeah.
Like, on one hand. On the other hand, it's just really bizarre. It's like, how does that work?
They co-produced it. They have a big hand in it, so they can. They can do that.
Okay, that makes more sense. What else? So, Rising a Shield Hero, that's going to be hopefully good. Like, you said that you'd pick that up or were wanting to watch it because, like, you've heard good things about the source material originally, right? Yeah. I've heard the same thing with Promised Neverland, but the studio behind it is behind that show is Cloverworks, who worked on Bunny Girl Senpai, which, since that studio is really good at handling characters, apparently, which... Judging from what we've seen from Bunny Girl, yeah, that's true.
My only hang up about Promised Neverland, I guess it's not really a hang up so much as it is like a tiny nitpick, is everybody has tiny faces. It feels like their head is way too big for their faces in the art that I've seen for the show.
Yeah, they do look like they have giant foreheads. It's kind of like Code Lyoko.
They look like they have giant everything. Like their faces, it's like Haley Joel Osment when he grew up. His face stayed the same size, but his head grew. I'm sure I will get over it after watching the first episode. But, like, it just looking at it now is a little weird.
It is a little bit of
same thing with, I had that same thing with the Mob Psycho. First, before I saw it, I was like, this show looks, like, all the art looks kind of rough.
Yeah.
But after watching it, I realized, like, it doesn't matter because the animation's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that's bones.
It's all, like, kind of what Konosuba did, where they never use the same frame once.
Yeah.
That's that style of animation where sometimes it looks rough, but, like, once you play it up together, it all looks... It just looks really good.
Yeah. It looks really good. You finished all of Mob Psycho recently, didn't you?
Yeah, I think I talked about that last week.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait, no, I didn't.
No, you didn't.
So, by the way, I finished all of Mob Psycho, so I can watch the new episode when it comes out tomorrow.
Yeah. I personally, I don't know if I ever talked much about Mob Psycho. I think I brought it up in passing a couple times before. I fucking love espers. Like Esper shit. Like one of my first
like the lore.
Yeah, like the concept behind it, like psychic powers and stuff like that. That's always fascinated me for some reason. I think it was. I think that kind of stems a little bit from watching Pokemon the first movie when they introduced Mewtwo. I thought that was just such a cool concept. Back when I was like a wee boy, I just thought it was so cool. And then I saw it again in Haruhi with Koizumi being an Esper. I was like, oh man, that's so cool. And that actually made my first D&D character I ever played ever. I wanted to say, I want to play a character like that. Is there something like that? And they're like, yeah, they're called Scions. I'm like, cool.
Back in 3.5.
Yeah, no kidding. We're never going to get proper Scions, are we?
So that's the end of week 1 of winter 2019.
Yeah.
It's not much this week, but yeah, lots more stuff next week. I'm super hyped about it. This looks like, it looks like it's going to be a good season, but not quite as, like, huge as last season, because...
last season had all the good things.
Yeah, like, I was super excited about a lot of stuff, but this season I'm, like, super excited about Promised Neverland, and Shield Hero and Mob Psycho, and I think that's about it.
Yeah, like, for me, like, just judging on the first episode...
Oh, and Run with the Wind.
Oh, yeah, Run with the Wind. But that's because it's a carryover. Yeah. But I personally am looking forward to Boogiepop after seeing the first couple episodes. But, again, I didn't really know what to expect with Boogiepop. I mean, think about, like, this season last year. Look what we had and compare it to now. This season, this year, it seems like we're starting off with a little bit of more... dread and suspense sort of deal with things like Boogiepop and Promised Neverland.
As opposed to Place for Earth in the Universe and Layback Camp.
Yeah. Which you've pointed out was your favorite show of the season that year. Probably your favorite show of the year, right?
My favorite show of the year last year.
Yeah, it's just so comfy.
Not the best show, but it's my favorite.
Yeah, it was a really comfy show. Like, it was great. I still don't know what my favorite show was of that year. I haven't really thought about it. Anyway, I guess we'll probably talk more about it, like, right around the time Anime Awards go up. Go and vote for them when they actually start.
Vote. It's your responsibility.
Yeah, we want you, as part of the anime community, to vote. Let's not have another situation where Yuri on Ice or My Hero Academia wins literally every single category. Even in categories it probably doesn't deserve to.
So, welcome back. Welcome new. Welcome. And we'll see you guys next week.
Yep, see you next week. Until next time, take care of yourselves, everyone.